Now grab my leg in any legging configuration. Perfect, classic. You can call it Ashi, call it single leg X, call it whatever you want. The general idea of any leg entanglement, much like any joint lock, is that he's got something he's trying to attack. So that could be my ankle, my Achilles tendon, could be my knee, it could be my calf, but it's usually something in the middle section of the limb that's being attacked. He's going to be attached to something towards the end of the lever, or I might say distal, or towards my core, I might say proximal. So he needs something there and something there. He needs those two attachments, and then he needs a power system, usually a large muscle group, that will take a piece of me through its range of motion. In the case of a calf slicer, it might just compress it. That's the general idea of leg locks. I have a bunch of different ways of trying to get out. So we're gonna go through and limit you to simple tactics through each drill, and then we'll kind of interlead through the tactics. So the first thing, so if he needs those three things, right? So he has an attachment to my foot, he could be using a shotgun grip, a guillotine grip, he's just holding my leg some way at the bottom so that when I wiggle it around, it's his. He's attaching it to above, so he's got this heel and this leg kind of wedging in right here, and I could start peeling stuff off. That's another way out. And then next, depending on the angle he has, he's got different things available to him. So let's spin you around so all can see you. Beautiful. So right now in regular Ashi, this is usually the realm of where we deal with ankle locks, heel hooks, etc. is right in this configuration with his hips underneath mine. However, if I start turning like so, suddenly it's going to be harder for him to ankle lock. He could expose my heel very fast. There's a heel hook here, or come back due to our fun world grade. He could do some of these short ankle locks where he'd express right foot forward and do like a heel style lock maybe, or a Woj lock. Woj lock is usually across, but the same idea. Like there's things he can do, but the things he can do change now that I've changed my configuration. Pull back for me again. If I spin all the way around with this, well then now maybe he gets it, maybe he doesn't, but if he, go ahead and toss me a knee bar, like put your hips on me, there's a possible knee bar here. It's not the best knee bar, but the things I'm worried about change as I change orientation, right? So that's angle. Every time I change my angle, there's a different set of things that he can do to me. Not that I'm ever free entirely, unless he's tunnel vision. If he's like, I want to ankle lock you, and I screw up the ankle lock angle, he's gonna have a hard time ankle locking. Same with heel hook, knee bar, etc. So those are the three things I want you to think about in the beginning. There's four. So thing number one is the attachment down here. Thing number two is the attachment up here. Thing number three is the angle. And then thing number four is gonna be depth. You also probably heard the expression knee line before in return to leg locks, right? So touch like on the outside for me. So right now, my knee is closer to him than the line of his thighs. If I slide my knee below it, people would say, oh, you've cleared the knee line. It does not necessarily mean you're safe, but it does usually mean that you're on your way out. So that's the general set of categories of things we're gonna do to try to escape, but we're not gonna throw all of them at each other at one time. So all we're gonna do is, I'll borrow you, we'll switch sides again. You're gonna attach to your partner's leg in some way, shape, or form. We're gonna classify them in different ways. Your partner's leg can be straight, meaning it's his right leg, my left hand. That's straight. If it's his right leg, my right hand, that's cross. All got that, right? My feet could be on the outside with both of them, on my outside with one of them, right? Or they could be, I'm gonna bend your knee, turn you in, I'm gonna repeat there. Or it could be on the inside, right? So feet could be on the outside, feet could be on the inside, foot could be straight, foot could be crossed. That's most of the configurations. I don't really care which one you do for the beginning. If you know absolutely none of them, the easiest would be single leg X, because most of you, even if you don't know leg locks, you've probably done single leg X. Just do single leg X. It's close enough for what we're trying to accomplish today. And all your partner's gonna do is mess with the first and most easy thing, which is your feet on the hips. Just start peeling my feet off the hips. He's gonna peel the feet off, and I'm gonna start to put it back. Go ahead. And that's just gonna be the game that we're gonna play for now. You're only gonna deal with the feet on the hips. And then, maybe he tries, and then maybe I'll try it again. Well, what if I put my leg across? Do the same thing. Now, once again, mess with my feet on the hips. Boom, boom. Notice that foot on the hip is a thing because my foot is available. If I do this into 50-50, suddenly this might be a little harder, but I'm still gonna let you tinker with it. So we'll start off with giving you guys complete freedom. If I see you guys kind of brain exploding, I'm gonna narrow you and force you to do certain things. But we'll see what you do with freedom for right now, and then we'll decide how prescriptive or broad this class is gonna end up being. So get with your partner. All I'm gonna ask you to do is I'm gonna let you do it. Take a hold of my foot. Boom, decide where your feet are gonna go. Excellent, we agree. Your job is to keep control of my leg and my hips. My job is to clear my hips in some way, shape, or form. I can move this foot, I can move that foot. Separating your partner's feet's another thing you can do. Like, if I just do this, do any ankle lock. Like, it's very hard. If he was maybe like Dean Lister powerful, Dean Lister can submit you with just his upper body. But most people need some hip control. Because even start bridging into it, I can now lift my hips up to alleviate the pressure. Because that's what the hips are doing, they're holding you down. Get with your partner, hold a foot, hold some hips, other person, clear some hips. That's the whole thing. I'm gonna let you guys talk today because it's later. How am I gonna put this? I want everybody to do a safety demonstration first. I always mention this because even though we're not doing heel hooks, people blow their knees out all the time in the white belt division because white belts generally care about winning, and so they squeeze really hard. And so you'll see this, and the other white belt does not know that they're in danger, and they'll be like, I should spin really fast. Please don't spin fast. He's gonna spin slowly to the left, and he's gonna get pressure in his knee. And then what'll happen, he's like, oh, I'm doing it wrong. I should go violently the other direction. And then he spins the other direction. That'll also tear your knee, just the other ligament. So a good general rule is, if you feel that impediment of your shin bone being able to rotate, rotational escapes should either not be done or be done very slowly and gradually. When I feel this death grip, linear escapes, so you can take his free leg and start stepping on my hands or whatever and start push-pulling. It's immensely effective. The general notion of push-pull is possibly, in my opinion, the highest percentage thing in all of leg lock escapes. Now, mind you, there are other things like standing up that are also valuable. But simply, if I, as the attacker, allow your secondary leg to create a push-pull, I'm probably going to lose your leg. There's a reason why, if you ever listen to John Danaher talk, he always emphasizes that control of the secondary leg, and I can't speak like John, but like it'll be incredibly professorial and New Zealandish. But what the key thing is, the reason why they're constantly saying, in classic saddle position, to grab that second leg, because if I grab it, it can't push-pull. Right? Even if you think of basic positions, like if I'm in a regular single leg X or Ashi, if he creates a de la hiva with this leg on the free leg and pushes that de la hiva and pushes his free leg, it is almost impossible for me to keep this. Not impossible. It is possible for me to keep it. Like, I've been in battles with people, I'm holding on for dear life, but the chances of me finishing submission is near zero. So instead of giving you guys complete freedom, I watched you guys with complete freedom. I saw some good, I saw some bad. We're gonna narrow this in. One person has a choice. We're gonna be doing straight Ashi. So you're gonna guillotine a foot, hold onto it. You can do regular style, which is just single leg X. I like the foot on this leg because there's less counterfoot locks. If you're addicted to the foot on this leg, you're honestly fine, but know that there's a Michael Jackson inspired move that can counter you here, and I'll tell you that later. So it's called the Smooth Criminal. It's one of the funniest named moves in all Jiu-Jitsu. It's a bonus later, just to remind me to show you a Smooth Criminal. So from over here is option A, or option B. I like butterfly Ashi. All you're gonna do is take back of your shin right here, and you can hold on to this and use this as an option. I like this as well. Just know that the secondary leg also matters. If I let this go, and he creates that de la hiva and can push-pull, I've lost the game. So get with your partner. One person does straight on, other person, you're allowed to, just like last time, clear your hip, but I want you to experiment with creating push-pull opportunities. All right? Questions? Good. 1, 2. Any pressure in your knee at all, please tap. Remember how I said at the beginning how if somebody violently spins, what I was supposed to finish before my brain cut myself off and taught you guys an entirely separate technique was if I hold your leg in a death lock and you rotate left or right, you take damage in your knee. So what I want you guys to do real fast with your partner is one of you's gonna death lock the shin. So really important, I'm not pressing down, because that's gonna make my wrist give. I'm flexing my wrist and pressing in as my other arm puts across. So you see that? Opposing forces. I'm holding tight so that now, if he tries to rotate, his knee's stuck. I want you to feel that feeling of pressure in your knee so that if you ever feel that while rolling, you're gonna back off. Violent, explosive movement while under control from your opponent is a recipe for injury. In general, violent, explosive music is a risk, but I think in space, in the case of like a blast double or something, it has its place. But if he has a deep amount of control of a piece of me, and I try to violently spin the rest of me, I'm gonna do more damage to me than he will. And as the offender, I think it's in your best interest with your training partners, if you see that crazy look in their eye, to let go and have a talk with them. I know for me at my gym, if I've ever entered legs on somebody who's not experienced, and I have a tight bite, and I see him go, those big eyes pop out, I'm gonna almost always, before they spin, just let go and be like, hey, we're gonna have a chat. Like, you're gonna hurt yourself. And provided that they're not one of those people who's like, jiu-jitsu doesn't work. Unless it's that guy, it'll, they listen, right? But even that guy, you don't break his leg, in my personal opinion. Maybe your gym's different. Maybe you're like, we have to defend the honor of jiu-jitsu. But like, that's a lawsuit. So far better for me to have a talk with him and explain how he was gonna spiral fracture his own leg, right? So get with your partner, do that twice, and then we're gonna come back and do our technique. Literally, you do it twice, as long as you feel the knee, we come back real fast. I just want that safety before we move on. Second thing, anytime that you put your legs, everyone put your legs in S position. Look at your front leg. This is the configuration for an inside heel look. If your leg is ever in this shape and someone can isolate a piece of it, you will tear your MCL and you'll have a bad time. Now look at your back leg. Anytime your leg is in this shape, go ahead and touch your heel, pick it up a little bit. Notice you feel pressure in your LCL. If your leg's ever in this shape, you're vulnerable for an outside heel look. If you do it or they do it, you're gonna tear your LCL. Also, a bad time. So if you ever feel pressure in your knees or find yourself in these situations, slow it down, tap, or try to disengage. Get with your partner, they hold your leg, you spin, you feel pressure in your knee, check, other way, check, come back. It should take about 2 minutes. Have fun, don't go too far, you can do it where you are. In the hip, we're gonna talk about the cross Ashi or saddle position. Actually, we'll do just cross in general. We'll do both saddle and 50-50, you and your partner can decide which one is better. Actually, I'll give it to me. Put me in saddle for me. Cross over, beautiful. So most people that are in saddle tend to escape by using the rotational escapes. Like at least like OG, Felipe Pena beat Gordon Ryan, rolled away, took his back burn, woo, it was great. But because of that, everyone saw that and everyone has studied how to make that hard to do now. It's still possible, but it's very well studied. My favorite way of handling people who, once again, I think I helped one of you with this, all you have to do is be like, that thing's over my head. I don't like that. Maybe I could grab it and move it. And I know that looks stupid, like that'll never work. And yet, to this day, that is my #1 saddle defense. I literally, because most people, what are they doing? Their legs are closed. They can't see my foot. So I'll make my foot heavy, open my legs. Oh look, there's a thing that I don't like. Get out of here. It is stupid. It somehow still works. 50-50. This was my blue or purple belt defense. Actually, let's spin so they can see the knock. There's 2 cases for 50-50. Shit, why am I doing this? We'll do one at a time. We'll do this, we'll 50 afterwards. I don't want to confuse you. Just do saddle. This one comes afterwards. All right? Have fun.
Yeah. Way to inter-saddle.
I'm not gonna have time to teach you those today. If there's a bunch of them, I love the spiral step. I've taught it at camps before. If I do that, we're not getting through this content. Grab me after class. I'll show you a million ways to saddle. For now, if you don't know how, just remember, it's cross. It's over. We're in saddle. I'll do it once if you want to just look at it. The spiral step is my favorite entry. I go step, touch, butt to the face, scoop. Right? If you didn't understand that, don't do it. Don't worry about it. I can't teach that today or we're going to lose the rest of the class. I have to stay focused. Like my desire to answer your question is really high and I'm using self-control. All right? Ready? Remove the thing that is holding your leg. It will be easier to get out. Now, something that is very obvious is, well, what if they cross their feet? What if they do a triangle? Jiu-jitsu people love triangles. It's like our favorite thing. Anytime we can make this shape, we're happy, right? I'm going to give you the secret to uncrossing any set of legs anytime in jiu-jitsu for the rest of your jiu-jitsu career. It's stupid simple again. Let's go to 50-50, but that's not just 50-50. This 50-50 is the easiest way to practice it. On the wrong side. Because I can practice, he can practice. We don't have to reset. If, give me a decent amount of pressure crossing your ankles. Cool. If I try to move his shins, I'm never gonna get this. If I just pull on this, push on his knee, we've seen all of these before. He's pretty strong. He's also quite good at jiu-jitsu. I'm probably not gonna succeed. However, if I go to the very end of the lever, the cool thing about ankles is that they dampen all the force that comes from these large muscles in the legs to make them very weak. If I can get to the bottom of his toes or his heel, he suddenly can't send all that quad energy into them as easily, or the hamstring energy. So if I reach into the little hole, I grab his heel, and I reach right here to get the bottom of his foot, and I just do this, I stop there. Be strong again. Now mind you, he might do a good job, and I can't get my hand into that hole. That's very reasonable. That could be it, but I can still always get to the bottom of his foot. Hold this one still. It's not magic. He's not acting. I didn't pay him. It's just humans aren't good at responding to force that isn't in a known direction. So for example, if I prime him and I'm like, hey, I'm going to push your foot directly in this direction, he can apply force directly in that direction. If we fight, I can't move it. But if I change direction, so like he's ready for straight up, if I pull, I push, I move, your leg can't change the direction of the force very well. And so if I confuse your leg, another thing that's hilarious, squeeze tight, if I just shake his feet, right, just shake. It's hilarious and it works. But all I want you to do is you're gonna get to your partner, and your partner, this 50-50 is one example, but it's true outside Ashi as well. Cross your ankles, right? Even like a try, oh, there's a heel. As long as I'm here. If you try the same thing at ankle height, be strong, I will not succeed grabbing ankles. Because his ankle can take the power of the quads, and my arm is never stronger than the quads. I must go to the actual feet. For me, my favorite is the bottom of a foot. If I can get the bottom of the foot in this taco grip, this is my foot. I do talk this is what I call a taco grip on the top, but the bottom taco is a real thing too. I love tacos and I love grabbing feet like they're tacos. It's like one of my things. You can also grab the heel, not quite a taco grip, but also useful. But grab their feet and literally let your partner squeeze as hard as they want, and your job is to just go, no. Do it in 50-50, do it here. The same thing can be true. It's spin. And saddle, what we were just doing. If he's got his feet crossed, now mind you, if he goes full Eddie Cummings and do a triangle, put your feet behind my butt. If he does this, you're gonna have a bad time. You can no longer untangle him. You're gonna have to deal in the realm of depth, which means that as long as I can turn his leg away, I can possibly slide out the hole. But there's no way, if I let him do this, that I'm unknotting this. Because I let him get a full reinforcement. This is called, you're late. But, too slow. Can you back over for me? If he just has an X, like this, foot to foot I can deal with, this I can deal with, but there's always a point where you're just late. Here, I open my feet up, just 2 feet. Move. All right, get with your partner. The drill is gonna be in trying, and but he can just into me. Good, uncross my feet. I'm trying as hard as I can. So, really important detail, perfect how you did that. The hand on the left must grab the leg that's closer to the left. The hand on the right must grab that one. So if you hold this one, and you got it, good. I can't stop that. I'm gonna try even harder. I have very strong legs, so I cannot stop you. All right? Give it a try. Have fun. Uncross the feet. You can do it from the back, whatever you want. Uncross feet. 1, 2. As a configuration, you see a crossed foot, it shouldn't scare you anymore. All the way down to if he's on my back, right? He crosses his ankles. Or if you're a dirty leg locker, you might just be like, haha, and try to pull this one off. But this is bold. Because it all depends on how much he cares about his leg. He might choke me unconscious before I break his leg. There's some people that are very tough. But even in this scenario, haha, it works. It works everywhere. So this is not the way to get out of 50-50, but it was my way for a long time. Me at blue belt and purple belt, I just hated 50-50. It just felt too fair. It felt too much like anything I can do to him, he can do to me. I don't like that. I want to be in an advantage. And so my answer to 50-50 for the longest time was, A little addition to the uncross is that instead of just, because right here, notice this fits behind me, I can't reach it with any kind of mobility. I would turn my hips and I would lay down as I open the feet. Be a little strong again. So it's gonna be harder here, but if I can get my hand here, I can lay down. My fall is actually proven here. And then I take this foot, remember what we did last time? There's a thing over my leg, I don't want it. I turn it, and I turn around. This was my favorite move. And we're gonna make a little window into the next mechanic that we're gonna talk about, which is gaining height. When someone is leg locking you, the more that you can gain height, the more they have to feel your weight, the harder time you're gonna have. And I just happen to think this is the funniest version of leg locks gaining heights, and I like fun jiu-jitsu. So you're gonna be attacking them with your butt. You're gonna throw your butt at their chest or face, depending on how comfortable you are with your partner. Chest is a good safe one. But if you and your partner have that kind of relationship, yeah, throw your butt at their face. Just, consent is key. So we're right here, you lay back. Foot to foot will be slightly harder, but the thing about foot to foot is I don't have to separate. If he has his feet foot to foot and I lay down, I can just with one hand pull this over. So don't get caught up on needing to use your hands to separate them. But if his feet are crossed, I can't pull that across. I must lay down and do that. But if he's foot to foot, then I don't have to. My body laying down allows me to use my hips to take it across. But all I'm gonna do is turn around, and from here, if you are a leg locker, you could go for your own leg locks. Or if you're like, I don't like that, technical stand up, your foot, hit it with your butt. You sit on it. You down your chair. All right? Knee bars are allowed, or you can just sit on them. You guys, I'm not telling you. For now, we're not doing the submission. You're just hitting them with your butt. All right? That's all I want you to do. People that are in the 50-50, be strong. And much like him, what I want you to do is, you can change it up. He put foot to foot. What if that happens? Think about it. Talk to your partner. Well, actually, I would do this. I wonder if it works. Break the move. I'm not magic. You might come up with some cool stuff that I'm like, I don't have an answer for that. But you'll never know if you pretend like I'm magic and I know all. I absolutely don't. Okay? Try to ruin my stuff, makes me happy, have fun. Another option. We have now rising, gaining height is another option, okay? The next thing that we are going to do you want to shoot some dolphins? What's my time? Fast anyone know?
40.
Okay, yeah, I'm a little bit over. Let's go over you again. That works. All right. So we're right here. We come across. I'm going to turn around. Why? I saw a couple of you doing this. And like I said, this isn't necessarily bad. Or even if you did this guy, there is, in theory, a knee bar here. And I have a couple of friends that could knee bar the crap out of me here. But I've had the bad experience of against an aggressive opponent. He bends his knee really hard. He starts scrambling up. He finds me fall back or knocks me forward. Versus him, I would never do this. I roll with him. This would be him getting a chance to attack me. I don't like that. Versus, if I'm here, if I put my hand up, cup the outside of the knee, and I hit him with my butt, I'm immediately reaching across, and I'm making a wide base so that I can be stable here. If I'm just doing this, this is me being very casual. I can also be worse and hunt this leg and go into, if you know King Knee Bar, Bendy and Katie Casimir, they call this Vinny control. This is also a good pin position. I'm just not as good at it. I personally prefer keeping a false grip on this knee, turning this way. I'm putting all the weight through the boniest part of my butt. Depending on how fluffy or flat your butt is, there's a bony bit, use the bony part. You don't want to use the juicy part. It's going to spread force. It's not what you want. You want the bony part of your butt doing this work. From right here, you can go for a knee bar. You can fall either direction. I can fall to the free leg and capture both for double trouble, all kinds of fun over here. I can also fall to the other side, and there's knee bars over here. And I'm not teaching that class. There's an instruction on Fanatics called the Compass Knee Bar System that I made, and that's not what we're teaching today. But there's a whole bunch of knee bars. The whole point being, all I want you to do, hug both the legs, fall over, it makes his life hard. Then for him, all he's gonna do, yes, perfect. You're gonna let go of your partner's leg. He's gonna build base to his knee. So build up, then he's gonna turn and look at you. Sit down on your butt. Now look where we are. We're right back where we started. Put on the other leg. So now we're gonna do it again. Throw it over. Boom. I hit him with this, and I can fall. Actually, go the same way. Fall over, and he can do it again. He gets tight. He turns and faces me. I will never knee bar him from there. But I'm an outside Ashi. You can. Switch, let your partner do it. The most important thing if you're ever knee barring people with their free leg on the bottom is not letting them build a base. So the way that I had you do it is purposely sloppy so your partner can escape, but to make it easier to finish, which is a different finishing mechanic than most joint locks. But we don't have to finish. All I want you to do is to get to here and feel, even with this, if I'm not being disciplined, build height, he can still overpower my hand, build height, and get out. Rolling that way usually isn't the case. Yeah, he's gonna go that way usually and escape. And now I just lost it. And for him, if he throws his leg over, he might start heel-hooking me. He might start attacking me. So that's the dangerous thing about knee bars. They're 50-50's neighbor. Anytime you knee bar someone, 50-50 is right there. But once again, we're not finishing, we're just using these ideas. So it's a small thing. I'm definitely letting myself get distracted, but I think it's not too far off. I believe in you guys. Have fun. 1, 2. You necessarily a recipe. It's giving you ideas, right? You notice you pinned your hip, it kind of worked a little bit. We uncrossed feet, that was helpful. Making the push-pull was helpful. These are just tools in your toolbox to get these people off your legs. So now we're gonna do something for the people who are on the leg lock side, and that's understanding this general concept of contraction and extension. In jiu-jitsu, the only time that I like to move into full extension is either when I am escaping a fully locked submission or applying a fully locked submission. And here's why. How's your bolo? Okay, that's okay is more than good enough for me. All right, so right here, if he turns away and begins extracting his leg, right? And I'm here and I'm trying to heel hook him. If I'm extending my back, go ahead and keep rolling. He will be able to extract his leg out as he's turning. Because my body's in a state of extension, usually your face gets caught on the floor and it feels really bad. Now, I know in the last class Chris mentioned this idea that you shouldn't be rolling over and over again. He's 100% right. However, people still do it, and I don't necessarily like breaking my friend's legs. So what I want you to do as your partner rolls is we're not gonna break them off. We're gonna simply just contract. I kind of imagine that I'm a koala bear or a cannonball, whatever mental image resonates with your childhood, whether it be jumping in a swimming pool or looking at a cute koala bear, whatever works for you, I don't really care. I just need you to have a mental image. So from right here, instead of me moving into extension to try to expose his heel or break him, I'm just gonna kind of grab my own butt or overhook his leg, and he can roll all he wants. Go ahead and roll. And I'm kind of like a little cannonball. Keep rolling. As much as he rolls, my butt wants to stay as close to his butt as possible, and he does all that rolling, and he's right back where he started. In a more advanced sense, you could upgrade your leg and foot entanglement. There's all kinds of stuff I do from here, but I don't have time for that today. So what I want today is just feel the difference between if I beam a cannonball, he can spin and I'm still here, versus sliding back over here. If I'm not a cannonball, he should be able to escape. Now the secondary thing, he's allowed to do things like creating a push-pull, like extracting his leg away. You never actually want to just roll in a circle. You want to imagine that your roll is more of a spiral. So if you notice that first time, as he was rolling, he was also biasing that way, starting to escape. So if I'm here and I'm trying to extend my head, my back is extended. As he rolls and pushes and pulls, that leg is getting lost. I still kind of keep going, keep rolling, and I'm gone. Very, very quickly. Comparatively speaking, sorry about that, the microphone must be stabbing your leg, that's my bad. If I stay contracted like this and he rolls, we didn't change our relative position at all. And it's my job to make sure I don't break my neck. It's my job to go forehead on the mat. If your cheek touches the mat, all the pressure goes into your neck. The exact same thing. Sorry about this, we're gonna do an analogy. If I do the shin on back of head armbar, where we're here, start sitting up. It's the same thing. I'm protecting my face. We can roll, we can keep rolling, and as long as I stay contracted, we can keep rolling and rolling forever. The second I extend, he's gone. Contraction is your friend. Contract, contract, contract. Get with your partner, roll around the room, make space, you don't crash into your neighbor. Thank him for delivering his body as tribute. Thanks everybody, off you go. 1, 2. I don't want to be too specific, but it's a concept about saddle in particular, and I've already, which is, everyone thinks that you hold legs by pinching them. But if I hold one leg by pinching him, all he has to do is put one hand on my knee, slide away, and he's gone. My pinch is not useful. Give it a try with your partner. I do shallows. Even if I have a triangle or something, I'm pinching really hard. Go ahead. He's gone. It is horribly unuseful. However, if I take my leg that is nearer to him and I flare it, it begins to dig into his leg. If I take my other leg and I collapse it, do the same thing, much harder for him to get to access to the push. He'll push this one, but he can't push that one easily. All right, so when we're doing our roll, we want to be flaring this way. However, all I want to do with your partner is simply feel that. Get with your partner. It can be in saddle, it can be anywhere. Just kind of Suzanne Summers, have thigh master their leg, and watch them just put their hand there and leave. And then apples to apples or Pepsi to Coke, flare and close, and see that it should be harder to leave. Not impossible, but harder. All right, give it a try, and that'll be our last mechanism. Hopefully this all makes sense. It'll help your leg locks, then we'll come back. Kumbaya, say goodbye to dinner. All right, 1, 2. Their names are amazing. John Danaher just introduces Japanese for no reason. Other people are very professorial. But 10th Planet will introduce, Michael Jackson, weed, and mushrooms, all kinds of stuff. So put me in single leg X. On the other side, that way the camera can see, sorry. So if he chooses to have the bent leg of his Ashi or single leg X on the same leg as his top leg, his heel is exposed and his foot is stuck under my butt. As long as you don't, if he outweighs me by 100 pounds, I might not be strong enough, but as long as I'm somewhat within 100 pounds of him, this should work. All I do is sit my butt on his foot, and I grab his foot, and it's called a smooth criminal because it looks like Michael Jackson dancing, going, woo! And if I if I stay here and I keep pulling, this is a heel hook on his leg, and I keep pulling back, this is gonna feel really bad. It's a very real thing, and it's not quite as bad as getting twisted, but it is an embarrassing way to lose, because right here, this will usually happen where he's digging out my heel, he's about to submit me, and then he loses here. It's just real embarrassing. Now, mind you, for the longest time, we were taught that you're safe if you put it over here. But Craig Jones is a horrible person. Poor Boogie Martinez found out twice in a freaking row that Craig Jones is a horrible person, because while you are safer here as long as you keep an active dorsiflex on this foot, Boogie unfortunately had his ankle relaxed. If your ankle is relaxed, Craig went whack and toe holded him behind his own leg and tapped him out here once again in a very embarrassing fashion. And I think it was the second quintet that they were at together. This is a horrible way to lose because it's just embarrassing. No other reason. But if he's over here and he keeps an active dorsiflex and keeps his mind on this foot, it's impossible to toe hold. The only reason the Boogie got toe holded is that his mind was over here thinking he was going to footlock Craig Jones, and while his mind was busy there, his foot relaxed, whap, and you're in trouble. So be very cautious when you're hiding your foot to be safe. When your mind goes elsewhere, it will become vulnerable. But if all he did was have a background process running that said dorsiflex, 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 he can keep that going, keep that background process and start exposing my heel. He can work with an active foot, but you have to be consciously telling your foot to dorsiflex. So my personal opinion is active dorsiflexion, kind of like background process while you do anything. And over here, come back to the other side. If you're gonna put your foot over here, you gotta be weary. The second this happens, if I'm him, I'm disengaging. Because if he just lets go of my foot entirely and pushes it away, it's nothing. But he has to give up the foot. He's losing because he wanted to tap me out, and I got to Michael Jackson, right? So you can practice, you can do whatever you want. That's the end of my class. Thank you so much for coming. We'll do a little photo. Give it